Hey guys, welcome back to the library. I've got a very fun personal story for you all. In going back to this series that delves in my life on the industry side of things, if not personal side, um, some may call this delusions of grandeur or what have you, but if I may paraphrase Patton Oswalt, the story I'm about to tell you is going to sound like a huge brag, but trust me, it turfs out so hard. So just hang in there. So, literally 10 years ago, I was still at GameStop.com and just trying to find my way out, whether it be another retail job, be it a graphic design job, what have you. I knew it was finally time to leave the company. And Game-Rave, in its old version, had finally found a footing for that time period. I was finding a lot of variants. I thought we were pretty close to finding all the known demos and all that good stuff. And I realized if you're going to take a chance, even if that chance does or doesn't work, you should still take the chance. And what I realized 10 years ago is that I absolutely adore what I do on Game-Rave TV and GameRave.com. So I wanted to see if I could apply that to Sony themselves. And what I came up with was a collector's edition resume, or in college they called it a creative resume. And I wanted to prove to Sony that the time was right for a archivist, researcher, information tracker, what have you, essentially turn Game-Rave into an industry side position inside Sony. 10 years ago, the PlayStation 3 was the system to go to. PlayStation 4 wasn't even on the horizon yet. And with the PS1 downloads and the PlayStation 2 digital backwards compatible titles and all the different store DLC, I was like, this would have been perfect. What a perfect opportunity to repair Sony's PlayStation website, which was, if we're being honest, brutal for anything previous in the current generation. Like even Sony's own website didn't have developers attached to PlayStation 1 and 2 games. It was pretty bad. So I was like, you know what? This is for me. This is my time. I'm going to go work for the Big Daddy P or S, I guess, for Sony. So, here's what I did. This is my collector's edition resume. And it was so cool to do and so cool to send. Here's how it worked. The box itself is an actual metal tin. And that tin, I was able to print to transparencies that you would actually use like on an overhead projector, or for you younger kids, a device that projected an image onto a screen because we didn't have HDMI cables at the time, and created a crystal clear sleeve for the aluminum case. And that sleeve actually contained what would essentially be the cover letter to my resume. I made different like PlayStation 1 game references. I actually took the icons, and if I still have the actual files, I'll put them up on screen. I actually changed all the icons to what would be like job qualification skills and so forth. It was just really cool. And the theme of the resume and the creative edition was me trying to break back into the industry, because it had been God knows how long since I was at Game Shark. So once you took the sleeve off the tin and opened the tin, the first thing you would see and get to pick up is the collector's edition t-shirt that came with it. Now the icon is essentially the PlayStation logo on a hallway, but this glass hallway was actually my favorite hallway at my college. And since the theme was breaking back in to the industry, while on the cover of the case the window was fine, on the back of the manual, in the back of the box, the glass was cracked, emphasizing trying to break back in. Once you put the shirt aside, you actually got a folio. And the folio was what would be sort of like a graphic designer's portfolio. They were basically trading cards that showed how how invested, involved, and relative I was to Sony's entire, what would you call it? Not atmosphere, but ecosystem. This included showing how I had won various contests for art with the God of War contest and the Secret Agent Clank contest. It included when it being the biggest PlayStation fan contest. It also showed how I was had created basically a bicycle shop's logo and lifestyle there. How me and Mrs. Game-Rave designed the winning submission for a children's menu for a restaurant, and so forth, to show that not just being able to archive information, I could actually create and whip up, content as needed. Once you put that aside, that's where the real fun began. And that was the video game edition of my resume. Now, the way it worked is there was a jewel case, and pardon the paper noise, but I've got my notes in front of me. The jewel case had a front and a back, and it was designed to look just like a PlayStation 1 game, because why the hell not? The booklet was my resume. It had the work history, it had, my thoughts and information, it had the references, and each spread in the book was a section of the resume. It just looked so cool. I took a long time to figure out how I wanted to do it. It had all my information from working at Game Shark. It had more information on the contests. There was all my GameStop information, the contact information on the front page, like a business card in of itself. Obviously, I featured Game-Rave to show that I had the chops to do all the legwork. And probably one of the coolest design aspects of it was in the middle, I think it was in the middle of the back last page. I had a spread of the hallway, but now all the window panes were all the magazines I had appeared in from either my collection or Game-Rave fanzine, with all the quotes from the articles and features. But the coolest thing is I was trying to express my positivity. Like one of my work ethic and life ethics is that I can be pessimistic, but overall I'm pretty positive and, Care Bear like, and just want to, make things work. When I realized I had forgotten to put the actual text on the page, instead of reprinting and having to reassemble the book, I took a piece of transparency paper and printed the quote to that, so that when you first looked at it, it looked like there was nothing on the transparency, but when you lifted it up to the light, you could read my comment about the light at the end of the tunnel. It was brilliant. It was so good. I hate everything I do, but I adored everything about this project. So then once you open the case, there was a CD, and the CD would have had the PDFs of the instruction manual and actual real standardized resume, and then the actual press release for the resume. And it was just so much fun to do, and it was so cool. So I'm like, you know what? Even if I don't get the job, this is going to be I cannot wait to get the phone call from the HR department and just talk about it and so forth. So I sent off the resume, and I actually had, at the time, I had a friend that worked for Sony who was in line with the HR department as far as be able to talk to them and so forth. And I sent off the resume, back to my GameStop job, and happy do. And about a week and a half passed, maybe 2 weeks, and yeah, nothing. I was like, did it get lost in shipment? Did it get damaged? Did I miss and did I accidentally insult somebody with something I was doing? And a couple days after that, my friend at Sony contacted me and let me know just how absolutely impressed the HR department, and basically anyone who saw it, was of my resume and my credentials. There was just one problem. In all those hours of copy editing and proofreading and testing, and to make sure I got every piece of information correct, I forgot to put down what job I was applying for. Yep. Now, I guess in the back of my mind, I would have assumed just the actual object would have been enough to at least give me a phone call and say, hey, this is cool, but thanks, no thanks. But yeah, if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have found out how badly I fucked up. Years later, that the HR director who got my resume was no longer with the company, and apparently liked the resume so much that she took the whole thing with her. So I don't know if that was to show people what not to do or if by now it's just sitting in a New Jersey Turnpike dump. But yeah, I tried applying to Sony, get a job to Sony, and I forgot the one important detail. Now, in truth be told, that job didn't even exist. So, like, looking back at it now, it must have come across so insane. Like, yeah, I think we got a fanboy. I don't know what to do. Maybe if we just don't contact him, we don't have to talk to him. But yeah, so in the end, it all worked out. What was funny is when I realized that had failed, I decided to try and get a job at, I don't know if you can see it or not, but I made a version for Games Radar. Guys, I am not kidding you. The day I finished the Games Radar version, the changes, like the day I was about to go mail it out was when they started closing all of their websites. And I was like, you know what? If I'm going to have to move, I'm not going to take that risk. And they're still around to this day, but it's just, to be honest, like in today's environment, I don't think I could work in a public facing environment like that. It would have to be like behind the scenes because, man, people just treat companies like shit. Like, even if they deserve it, like it's brutal out there. But yeah, in the end, I didn't get a job at Sony, and I'm sure I was the butt of a few HR jokes, but it all worked out for the best, blessing in disguise. Right after I gave up on trying Games Radar, I ended up getting my current job that I absolutely adore and work with amazing people, just like I did at GameStop. And we got our own place. Mrs. Game-Rave moved in. It all worked out. But yeah, this is my tale of what not to do when you're chasing your dreams and just how far you may or may want to go. All right, guys. Other than that, have a great day. Stay safe. As for me, I'm going to start editing this video, and if I'm not done, it won't matter because at 11 p.m., I am playing Horizon Forbidden West. Take care, you guys. Any questions or comments, hit me down below. I'll see you later.